we've got the cards. They're a conversation starter. But that's the reason I'm telling you about these is very simply this. Because Jesus enters into the 4th chapter of John with just a simple conversation. This miracle event starts with a simple conversation. All right. In verse, let's look at chapter 4 and in verse 6. And we're going to read just portions of this here. It says, "Now Jacob's well was there, and Jesus therefore, being weary from his journey, sat thus at the well, and it was about the 6th hour." The 6th hour, from my recollection, is about noontime. So the calendar starts, so time starts sun up, sun down. Daytime is sun up, sun down. 6 hours into from sun up, so about 12-ish. Jesus is sitting there and he's tired from his journey. How many of you have been tired from your journey through life most every day, and the last thing you feel like doing is stepping out of your cocoon and trying to share anything with somebody else because you're pretty absorbed? You know? Okay, so point number 1, you have to make yourself available. Amen? You just got to make yourself available. Evangelism doesn't just like somebody comes up to you and say, "Hi, I can see the light all over you. You're so awesome. Can you tell me more about Jesus?" You know? That's just not the way that works. So here, Jesus starts this conversation with this woman. And let's pick it up here. He says, "And a woman of Samaria came to draw water." All right? Nothing miraculous about this, right? And Jesus said, "Give me a drink." All right, let's look at this real quick. So, people are going about their daily lives. In this case, this woman is just going to the well to draw some water. Jesus does something that you and I probably don't and won't do very often unless we make a conscious effort to change, which is this. He asked somebody to help him. Did you see that? He says here, "Give me to drink." Most of us, especially guys, we're totally not interested in asking somebody to do something for us. We are totally self-sufficient. Guys, right? We are a rock. We are an island. We do not need anyone. Right? So here you can see the difference in the attitude between Jesus and us. Jesus literally reaches out and says, "I need your help." That's so unlike me. I will go out of my way to prove I can do whatever it needs to be done without your help. Thank you very much. But Jesus, you can see the humility in his presentation by simply asking for help. Now that can be in many different ways. In my case, I've decided the way that I can ask for help is, "Hi, I'm Pastor Steve. My job is to grow a church. I need your help." All right? That is my thing. That is you can copy it, but it is my thing. I am now going, "I need your help." Because when you tell a person you need their help, you are empowering them. You are telling them you have something. I'm not here just because I have something you need. I'm empowering you. I'm coming to you and telling you you have something. So he says, "Give me to drink." Now think about that in the broader perspective. What does that really do? That means you're able to come to people and ask them for help to involve them just simply for the sake of saying, "You know what? I'm humbling myself. I do need others. I do need your help. I do need your involvement." In this case, we need you as a church. You know, here's the card. Don't just say, "We're here if you need us." That is good. But if you also tell people, "We need you," how much more does that empower them? They feel like, "Really? You need me? If you were to say, like, there's this lady walking by right now, she's taking her laundry to the laundromat. Okay? Now, if you're taking your laundry to the laundromat, most of us will go through that door and we will finagle our laundry and our basket and whatever else we've got on us to try and open that door for ourselves instead of humbling ourselves and asking the person that's right there if they could please open the door for us. We just do that. That is not our human nature is, I can take care of this. Okay? But that's not involving the world around us, is it? So what Jesus did is what I think we should start doing. Ask the world around you for help. Because that empowers them, that puts them in a different position. Rather than you being over them, you're actually reaching up, saying, from this position of humility, we need you. And that's really the servant's attitude that I think is best received. All right, so let's start involving ourselves by needing other people's help. If you're going through a door and you've got your hands full, instead of trying to do it yourself, ask somebody for help. Because you'd be amazed that people are willing to help. They just don't want to rush to do it for you. They want you to ask. Amen? Amen. Most of the time when you ask people, they're all the more willing to help. Hey, could you help me do this? Sure, whatever, no problem. I very rarely get turned down when I ask somebody to give me a hand with this. Can you give me a hand with this? Can you help me understand this? How about that guy that was when Philip was evangelizing, and let's see, there was a Ethiopian eunuch, right? And he was passing by. The Spirit said, "Go join yourself to him." You remember this in Acts? The Spirit said, "Go join yourself to him." And the guy was reading, and he says, "Can you help me out with this?" In other words, he said, "Who is he talking about? Is he talking about himself or someone else?" And Philip began to unveil to him about Jesus the Christ. But the guy is opening up the conversation by just simply saying, "Can you help me understand this?" I mean, that's how we can start by, can you help me understand this? I mean, there's all kinds of ways to get people to help you and involve them in what's going on. All right, so ask for help. It works for the devil. How do I know? Let's see. Last time I read a small portion of was Theodore Bundy. He was a killer, mass killer. You saying, do I take my examples from mass killers? No, but if it works, it should work for good a lot better than it works for bad. But you know what he did? He used to put a fake cast on his arm. And when he'd be out in the parking lot or something, he'd see some lady that he wanted to try to take advantage of. So he'd cast himself up and say, "Can you help me open my door? I can't get in because of my..." And you know what? Well, he was fooling the whole time. He was very, very capable. In fact, when they put themselves in a position to where they'd start to help him, he'd take advantage of them. And obviously, things didn't go well. But the idea is, it works for the devil, saints. We need to be able to employ simple tactics that work. People are willing to help. We just need to ask for it. All right, so let's go on and look at what Jesus is doing here. So he's humble. He asks for help. And the woman, she starts a conversation. Now listen to this conversation. We'd like to think everything goes rosy and everything goes well, but it didn't really. It didn't start out, it didn't really go that way. What ended up happening is he says here, give me a drink. And look what she says. Then the woman said, "How are you, being a Jew, ask a drink of me, a Samaritan woman? For the Jews don't have any dealings with the Samaritans." So you know what? He gets some pushback. You know, she doesn't just come right up and say, "Oh, sure, anything you want." She's like, "Wait a minute now, you're asking for my help." And this is the world's perspective, because the church starts to ask for something from the unbeliever. You know, "I'm asking you for help to build the kingdom of God." And they're like, "What? You need my help? That doesn't even make sense." And she doesn't make sense of it. She says, I don't understand. You're a Jew. Why are you even talking to me? But here's the beautiful part. I was watching a little trailer for a movie. And in this trailer, Mary and I were watching it together. And in the trailer, somebody had given a book to a young lady. And it looked like in that book, in that circle, that the book was well received. But it then shows the lady walking right out of the meeting that she was in and throwing it in the garbage. And then it shows another picture of the woman who initially gave her the book is giving her the book again, saying something similar to, it seems as though you lost this. She picked it up out of the trash and gave it back to the woman. Which my wife and I quickly commented to each other. Would that have been us? Probably not. If we'd had the courage to delve back into the garbage can and get that book, we certainly would have cleaned it off, sterilized it with hand sanitizer, and not given it to the person who just threw it in the garbage. Isn't that right? Because that's not the way we think. Because we're not on the same wavelength about how God persists and how He is just tenacious about His pursuit for people. And if we continue just to expect people to roll in because we're nice, I don't think we're going to see the kind of impact. There's got to be some persistence against those who push back. This woman literally pushed back against Jesus. Jesus says, "Can you get me a drink?" He's asking her for help, putting himself underneath her, putting her up here. And what does she do? She pushes back. She says, "What is this? You're a Jew, I'm a Samaritan. We don't have this thing. Whatever you're doing, we don't have this." Are you feeling me? You understand it? This is a literal, I know it's in the Bible, but this is a literal experience that happened to Jesus. This is the Son of God. He's getting pushed back from somebody who doesn't understand why He's asking their help, why he's involving Himself with their life. And that's the feeling I get sometimes. Do you get that? Why are you involving me in your life again? And there's a simple, basic reason. I feel compelled to involve myself in your life. Even if you think I'm a nuisance, I feel compelled to involve myself in your life. Amen? It's awful quiet. All right, so Jesus gets some pushback. I am amazed at how easily we are turned off with our oh, you don't want here, here, if I don't know if here, it kind of goes something like that, and then after they're like, "I don't do church." Oh, okay. And you're like, wait a minute. What if Jesus said, He said, "Give me a drink," and she said, "Well, you're a Jew, I'm a Samaritan. We got nothing going on here." You're right. You know what? I just felt led, but I can see the door's not open there. I'm not feeling anymore. Have a nice day. But Jesus gets some pushback, and instead of getting all bent out of shape about it, like, this isn't the iconic moment I was thinking about, He gets the pushback, and he persists. Just like that woman who dug that book out of the trash and put it back in the woman's hand and said, "I think you dropped this, I think you lost this." What did she say? "I think you dropped this," or something like that? Yeah, she dropped it, all right in the trash can. But anyway, that woman persisted. And just in the movie's sake, so I don't leave you hanging, she took that book back home with her, and ended up, she became the victim of an abduction by a murderer in Atlanta, and she didn't know what else to do. She was reading that book that she was given, and she shared some of the things that she was reading with that person who abducted her. And the whole city was looking for this guy, and he was pent up in her apartment, holding her hostage while she was reading him little excerpts from this book that the woman had given her a second time. And it changed his life, preserved her life, and the her child's life was obviously impacted because Mom was still with me. So there's a lot of good and you can see the movie in theaters soon. But the idea was that persistence of that one person, most of us would have just simply said, well, it's not working, right? And backed off, right? I'm going to take my liberty here. We were watching CDN, and this guy was talking about his testimony. He was telling about how that he, he'd been studying about Jesus, and he'd grown to think that Jesus, was who he said he was, and he was on board for being a Christian and everything, but he hadn't been born again. And he was a doctor, and somebody came into his office and just looked him straight in the face and said, do you know Jesus as your Savior? And so he just looked at his assistant, and she looked at him, and he said, I'm going to have to excuse myself for a moment, because he didn't know what to do or say, So he excused himself, and it got him into that place, moving from, I'm comfortable with Jesus, but I haven't yet been born again, to, I need to really make that kind of a commitment that is a game changer. But it all comes down to somebody having the gonads to step up to the plate. Yes, ladies, you have them spiritually. Right.
Don't Twitter that one.
Yeah, probably not. It could be taken the wrong way. But in the context, I think we understand one another, and that is that you're just going to have to you're going to have to put up with not being liked, a little bit, in order to get out there what really needs to be done and said. And I'm telling you this because I want to see the church grow. But I told you when we first started out, there are people through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the 2000s, all their music is saying, I'm helpless, but they're happy and smiling on the outside. But if the person's playlist tells you what they're really like, you can tell the world is in a sad situation by the themes that they've recited decade after decade after decade that they can't get away from. They're longing for that relationship. They sing about it in every way possible, whether it's sex or whether it's just, I want the one, I'm waiting for the one. I'm thinking about songs like, it's sad to belong to it's sad to belong to the wrong one when the right one comes along. There's always like, I'm never really sure, I don't have, and there's all this uncertainty and all these things, and all of it revolves around a single relationship that they can never have apart from Jesus. Can never have apart from Jesus. And if you don't believe that they really have that need, look at their playlist for the last 50 years. It's all saying the same thing. I'm hungry for a relationship to make me whole. Give me what I want. And this is all simply back to Genesis when it says, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. There's something we were created with. There was a need to be with someone. Not a woman, not a man. To be with Jesus. Try to deny it all you want, but your music says that. Amen? All right. So I told you that our most meaningful moments that we remember in life are when we came together and when we gave life together. Your most meaningful moment in life that you're going to share, the Bible says, go into all the world and share the gospel. I know that sounds freaky. You want to scratch your head and say, what on earth? Nail it down for me. Pastor, what exactly when you say preach the gospel to all the world, to every creature? When it says every creature, it's so phenomenal. It means every. It means don't leave anyone out. Don't miss any opportunities. Holy smokes. When you go through life, you're thinking about how many times do I miss opportunities per day? How many creatures have I left out of my creation? How many times do I pass people by and think zero about them? But Jesus says, preach the gospel to every creature. Every creature. Don't miss out on any of them. But what is the gospel real quick? Well, it's good news. It's good news. But the gospel, the good news is not just a banner that we wear. It's not a saying that we have. It's not a favorite scripture. The good news is a person. His name is Jesus. He was the best news for me. I didn't know that doing drugs and living, with hopes of being married but enjoying sex outside of it, all these things, I didn't know that there was an answer. That answer was Jesus. So you can tell somebody about the kingdom, you can tell them about heaven, you can tell them about the streets of gold, you can tell them all these things. But the gospel, the good news, for me, was simple. It was about Jesus. He's the best news ever happened to me. And he's the only news that I can share with somebody with all confidence, which will never be disappointed. Amen? Amen. And with that, I say, share the gospel. Preach the gospel. What is that? Preach Jesus being people's source the way he is your source. Whatever the needs are that you've had in life, I believe that you know Jesus is your source. And whatever the needs that people have, you too can proclaim Jesus as source for their needs. The gospel is really very simple. His name is Jesus. Amen? Amen. So when I say, go into all the world and preach the good news that Jesus is the answer. Not just in a banner, Jesus is the answer. Put it on a bumper sticker, stick it on your car. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, if you believe that Jesus was the answer for you, is the answer, then he is the answer for all that you speak with. He's the answer for everyone. Church is just simply one of the ways that people start a conversation about Jesus. You put this card out there, you're starting a conversation about Jesus in a way that's less threatening than walking up to a person and saying, do you know Jesus? If you're led to do that, do it. But if you're not led to do that, would you start a conversation that simply starts with, can you give me something to drink? Start a conversation with somebody intentionally, and see what God does with it. You hearing me? Start a conversation just like Jesus did, intentionally, and see what God does with it. Because the way I see it, and we'll close with this, you continue reading, you know what happened next? The Holy Spirit began to pour into Jesus. This is the same thing that happens for you and me. Conversation starts intentionally. And it may at first be pushed back against. But then God starts pouring into you. And all you do is you pour out what God pours into you. And as you pour out what God pours into you, God does what he does. And this is what he did here with this woman. Remember? He just said, well, go get your husband. I could get you living water. And she's like, oh, yeah, that sounds really good. I'd never have to come to this stinky hole again. That'd be awesome. I don't like this. Yeah, well, go get your husband. She's like, whoa, let's be real here. I don't know him. And church people go, they're freeze. What? You're living with somebody? So Jesus says, no, you're right. You don't have a husband. In fact, you've had 3. You're singing that song. I've been rejected. I don't have any self-worth. I don't know what to do with my life. 3 guys have let me down, disappointed me, and now I just don't want anything to do with them. This is the last songs playlist for every person in life that says, I'm happy, I don't have any needs. And yet their playlist says, I have a need, and nobody seems to be able to meet it. And you have the answer. A person who can meet that need. His name is Jesus. That's the good news. Wow! How simple can it be? I feel like Kermit. Wow! I mean, come on. It's so simple. We've been trying to pump our brain full of information. It's that simple. I have a relationship with Jesus. You can too. Wow. Amen? Doesn't mean that all your problems go away and that you suddenly mount a rainbow and just ride it to the pot of gold. That's not the way that works. But when it comes down to it, that person that you know every other relationship was not stable, that person who can bring stability in very unstable circumstances, the person who will always be in your corner, the person that will be your rock when everything else is on the floor. It's Jesus. Amen?
Amen.
You can't help that person from never having difficulty and trouble and never being disappointed in life. But you can help them to know the answer for somebody who will help them deal with all disappointments and never leave them and never forget about them, never disappoint them. So, I'm energized. I'm energized because my church has a goal. It has a vision. And it's very simple. It's bringing God and people together. I feel like I can get on board with that. And I feel like if the most memorable parts of my life are the time that I come to God, which I've already got, and the time that together God and I bring life, I can do that. I can initiate that. I can participate. I can be a part of that. I can do that. So I'm gonna do that. Because it's the part of the happiest part of my life that I have control over. Amen? All right. So, shout! No, put your hands in the air. I'm really put your hand up in the air as Abraham put his hand up in the air. He said that I lift my hand up to God, possessor of heaven and earth. That, if God was reaching down with his hand and he was touching your hand, you clasped hands with him, you'd be making a covenant, right? In the natural, you would slice the center. You saw maybe when you were a kid, you had blood brothers. In the spirit, Jesus has already got the wound in the center of his hand. He's reaching down and he's joining his hand with your hand to mingle the blood of both of you in a covenant together. And you are already in this covenant with him. You are his hands. You are his feet. You are in covenant with God. He is in covenant with you. And you in covenant with him. And in this covenant, our responsibility is just to share this covenant with others. Isn't that awesome? It's to broaden the scope of the covenant. So, thank you, Holy Father, right now in Jesus' name, that by your Spirit, I will purpose to initiate conversations about you with others. And in doing so, I believe that you will open up doors of opportunity for the good news of Jesus, the person of Jesus, to be shared with those I initiate conversation with. I'm believing to be heard and received, and that everything I say is seen. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right. See, you are ready to, you've already got the most important and memorable part of your life, the relationship with Jesus. That was awesome. That's great. Now you are giving life. Together, you are pumping them out. You are giving life. Because this letting the gospel, this is your purpose, letting the good news of this relationship with Jesus that you already have be shared with those others. Simple. Amen? Amen. We can do it. All right. And so regardless of the masses, this is your mission, and you can forever have the happiness of knowing you're propagating, you're giving birth. My daughter holds up these tiny little seeds. She's got a zucchini plant. It sprouted up little things, and every day she'd bring me this plant. She'd say, "Look, it's growing." Right? And every little leaf, she'd say, "Look, there's another little leaf. Look, there's something." She's like, it's sprouting something. It's just like being a parent, isn't it? It's like giving birth. Dad. Yeah. See, that's it energizes, it excites you for eternity to be able to look back on it. Don't waste the opportunity you have. Yeah, the most exciting thing in my life is I came to Jesus Christ. Awesome! Is that where it ends? Or is that just the beginning? You decide. Amen?
Amen.
All right. Let's go ahead and receive this morning's tithes and offerings. We appreciate your faithfulness as always. And I would like to pronounce a blessing. How many of you could see God blessing your finances? And, I can see God blessing your finances. And so you can buy a jet. Or no. So that you can, so that you don't have to think about your finances so much that you can't think about anything else. Amen? I mean, if that's the only peace of mind you get, you don't have to have a brand new this and brand new that. If the only thing that you get out of believing right now is that you'll not have to make money the most important thing in your mental life, that's an awesome benefit right there. So when I say blessed, I'm asking for blessings so that I can devote my energy to something that matters. So right now, Father, I'm asking that every gift and every giver be blessed so that they can focus on their energy, on the things that really matter, and that they don't have to always wonder about their finances. They can just know, God, my finances are blessed. You give me new and innovative ways, easier ways than working myself so hard that I got no energy for anything else. But ways that are meaningful so I can do what really matters. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right. Now, there were 500 cards in my first installment there's 250 in that first box. There's another box. Now, you're all excited and energized. So, I'm going to leave it at the back.